All right, so as we said in our last podcast, we're really thinking that the Moscow police force in Moscow, Idaho, where those 4 University of Idaho students were sadly murdered, the police are either going to be really close to catching the guy or they have no clue at all. The reason why is because they're not giving any information, no suspects that they're telling the public of. Everyone apparently is cleared. No persons of interest at all. Nothing. They have no idea what exactly happened. Apparently, recently we put out a video on my main channel after we discussed this on my last podcast that the Moscow PD has to issue a reward, a cash reward to get the best tips possible. We said that, and I don't think the Moscow police are actually getting the best tips of specifically people who know the Unsub. The Unsub is not likely just someone who's, a complete loner and no one's ever really heard of him and he's living in the underground and he came up to commit these heinous crimes. Likely not. He's likely someone people know. And if people know him, then we have to be able to get out the best tips possible where people are looking at people they know and possibly turning in people they know that are acting suspicious. And that could be the Unsub in this type of case. And if you saw that video and if you saw the comments, some of you wrote in the comments, or at least maybe were involved in some of those comments, that, well, it seems like the Moscow police and the FBI, they know who he is. They're just trying to get all their ducks in a row, and they're going to get him any day now. They know who he is. As these days are passing and as the days are going where there's no arrest made, there's no information coming out, the case seems to be going quite cold. Yes, it does appear that they don't actually know. And I think a lot of where that's coming from is that some of you suspected the Hoodie guy, the guy who was behind Madison and Kaylee when they were ordering food at the food truck. For the general public, he was probably the most likely suspect in this case. Makes sense because it's like, oh, okay, well, he's acting kind of weird. He was behind them. He was the last person to see them. All right, it has to be him. I mean, who else could it be? And that's the problem because Mr. Hoodie guy was ruled out by the police. The police ruled him out. I don't know what they know. I don't know why they ruled him out, but they ruled him out. Furthermore, recently we got footage specifically from not the police, but it was leaked to the media, and I think it was by one of the parents of the children, and it was of Madison and Kaylee walking down the street with the Hoodie guy. So they apparently were kind of friendly with Mr. Hoodie guy. Not saying he couldn't have done it, but they were kind of chummy with him and kind of talking about some guy at the bar named Adam that apparently they liked and were curious if he said anything. And apparently Mr. Hoodie guy said, oh, I told him everything. I don't know what that meant. But what that video footage shows is that, yeah, well, maybe Madison and Kaylee were actually kind of friendly with Hoodie guy. Again, because theoretically, you could still do it. But I guess combined with him being ruled out supposedly by Moscow police, he's not the total creeper that he initially seemed, I suppose, when you just see the food truck video surveillance footage. Now, if he's ruled out, I think a lot of people start going back to, uh-oh.